It's time to build a habitat for the first animal from the newest Asia animal pack, the honey badger. Although it is included in the Asia animal pack, we'll be adding it to our African section of the Elm Hill City Zoo because they are also found in Africa. I am so happy to finally have those fearless little guys in Planet Zoo and in the Elm Hill City Zoo, and I hope you guys will like their new enclosure. Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to the Elm Hill City Zoo. Today we will be building for a very requested animal by you guys, the one from the newest Asia animal pack, and I am talking here about the honey badger. This is the first animal from the newest pack that we'll be adding to our Elm Hill City Zoo. It is kind of a main star of the Asia animal pack, and a lot of you guys asked me if I will be adding it to the Elm Hill City Zoo, so that's why I decided to build for it first. Whenever the new DLC is released and I learn about the list of animals, I start to make some plans for them in the Elm Hill City Zoo. And when it comes to this new pack, I have plans for more or less all the animals to include them somewhere in the zoo, but I knew that I had to start with something, and because of your comments, I decided to start with the honey badger. Now, the range of the honey badger of its distribution is very wild. It lives in Asia, but it also lives in most parts of Africa, and that is why I decided to include the honey badger in our African section of the Elm Hill City Zoo. So if you are wondering where are we building right now, we are actually filling up the space that was empty for such a long time, and it is between the porcupine habitat and a little wetland section for the wild water buffaloes, for the Nile lechwe, and like opposite of the honey badger habitat there is a habitat for the capybara and the bird's tapir. So we are kind of building this on the edge of two sections, the African section and the wetland section. And after this habitat will be done, and I will add one more in the future for the warthogs that I also have planned for this specific area, this whole section of the zoo will be sort of finished. And this is always very exciting to me to finish a section of the Elm Hill City Zoo. You guys know that this project is on for quite a long time, for many years. So finishing something, anything in this zoo always makes me happy. Okay, but let's talk about the actual honey badger habitat. As you guys can see, we are building the barriers right now. I am normally starting my builds with building the barriers to set like the parameters of the habitat, so to know what I am working with, how much space do I need, and so on. Honey badgers are not maybe like super popular zoo animals, but you can see them in fair amount of zoos. I have seen them in, I think, several zoos, one of them being the Prague Zoo last year, where the honey badgers were really active. They were very playful and doing a lot of stuff, so it was really interesting to see them. And from this particular habitat, I got the inspiration to build the barrier. I have read some things about the honey badgers, and I know that they are super intelligent and they are also perfect escape artists. Honey badgers are very intelligent animals. Some people compare their intelligence to animals like apes or dolphins, but because of that, they can come up with different tactics of escaping their habitats. There's even a very famous honey badger named Stoffel, who is famous for escaping its enclosure. He resides at the, I think it is pronounced the Moholoho Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in South Africa, and it became famous because of its escape. It used to use tools to open the locks or build structures to climb over the barriers. So as you guys can hear, we need to keep that in mind while building a realistic habitat for the honey badger. The funny thing is that Stoffel used to escape the habitat to go and interact with different animals at the wildlife conservation park. Not to like completely escape, he just wanted to play, so that's so adorable. Unfortunately, Planet Zoo didn't give this animal the ability to climb. Like, they can climb on some objects, they can definitely climb some smaller trees and stuff, so that's why they are also perfect at escaping. So oftentimes in zoos you will see them in like aviary types of builds or enclosures where they have like a mesh top, so it prevents them from climbing out of the habitat. But again, in here I went something for that was inspired by Prague Zoo. It is a slightly taller fence, almost as tall as the adult human, with some sort of an overhang that would prevent them from jumping out, and also the hot wire that is also attached to this fence. So I hope that it will be able to keep them in. Like, it was very inspired by Prague Zoo, so if it works there, I'm sure that, you know, in our semi-realistic zoo it will work as well. So the fence will consist of the glass viewing panels for some better view into the habitat, and the rest will be just made out of stone. I wanted to make it cohesive with the habitat that is next to it, which is the one for the African crested porcupines. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but we used this rustic stone for a barrier, and that's why I decided to use it here as well, so that this whole like little section in our African section is a bit more cohesive. That's why we'll also be using the same kind of a shelter that we used for the Red River Hawks that are just next to them, and also for the African crested porcupines, and in the future for the warthawks we'll also use something similar. The habitats for the honey badgers in zoos are often not very over the top or anything super interesting. I try to use some unique things in this habitat, such as this barrier, for example. In realistic zoo, you have some habitats that are just, you know, stars of the show, of the entire zoo, that are beautiful, and oftentimes they are for some more special animals, let's just say it that way. But for honey animals like honey badgers, like for African crested porcupines or some ungulates or something like that, you often have those like more basic habitats, and this is something that I went for. I still wanted to make it look nice, of course. I will still use some rock formations in the back to make it look a bit more interesting, although I know that we are kind of reusing them a bit in my latest builds. I actually wanted to try something else for the background of the habitat, but then I decided, okay, let's just make this whole area cohesive. So I will still use the stalagmite walls, but in some other future projects I will try to use something else. Of course, I will also add the hot wire on the rock walls to prevent the animals from climbing out of the habitat. I still wanted to make those rock formations a bit more interesting and unique. That's why I decided to incorporate those rock walls from the Oceania pack into my usual rock walls. And I really like this idea. I think I will be using that much more in the future because I really like the look of it. Before we'll start filling in the entire enclosure, let's talk a bit more about the Asia Animal Pack. Now that the pack has been out for a couple of days, you guys had a chance to check it out. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? What animals are your favorite? I am very curious about that, so leave some comments in the comment section. I must say that I liked this pack a lot from the very beginning because of the animal choices, but it's even more grown on me because I have seen some creations for some new animals from different players, content creators, and there are some incredible ideas for those animals, and that makes me so incredibly excited to build for them. I am still not a huge fan of the building pieces from this pack, but I have seen, for example, Eben use some of the like LED pieces to build some fences, and it looked really nice. So I also really need to go and try to explore that a little bit. So maybe we'll try to find some different uses for those LED pieces. When it comes to my plans for the new animals, next time we will also have a new episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo where I'll be building for a new animal from the Asia Animal Pack. After that, I plan to actually return to the Desert Adventure Park. The next episode will be very nice, and then probably we will be back to finishing the Latin America house. So we still have like 2 more animals to add, one outdoors and one indoors. indoors. So those are the plans for the nearest future when it comes to the videos. But then of course I plan to add, I think, all the animals from this pack, from the Asia Animal Pack, to the Elm Hill City Zoo. But we'll do it in, you know, different times, and some probably earlier, some later. I, for example, have a plan for the entire like ungulate Asian like section of the zoo with the Nilgai, with the black back, where I'll be adding the Indian rhino, and I also want to move the Asian water buffalo there and place the African buffalo in its older enclosure. So this is one of the plans, but honestly I don't know when it will happen, but it will definitely happen. I just hope that Planet Zoo 2 won't be released too soon. Like, for me it could be like even like 2 or 3 years of waiting still, because I still have so much to build in my projects when it comes to Planet Zoo. For Elm Hill City Zoo, I think I have plans for like 50 something enclosures still, but yeah, there are some rumors about the possibility of Planet Zoo 2, because during one of I think the presentations for some investors, someone from Frontier referred to Planet Zoo as Planet Zoo 1. So this kind of implicates that there's also Planet Zoo 2, right? I'm not very like keen on this idea yet, because I think that there's still such a huge potential in Planet Zoo 1. But of course, if they plan to release it soon, I will be happy. When it comes to the releases, you guys probably know that Jurassic World Evolution 3 is coming. It will be out in October of this year, and I will definitely start a series on Jurassic World Evolution 3 on my channel. I already have some ideas. I just cannot wait for the modular building system in this game. I think it will be just amazing, and I am so grateful for to Frontier for, you know, including me in the early like release of this game. Unfortunately, my videos were not that good because I was basically on vacation, and I just couldn't do anything super nice on my laptop. Also, they kind of got on my nerves a bit, I must say, because they said the release date of and the release hour, like time of the first like reaction to the trailer when they firstly like announced the Jurassic World Evolution 3. We could, you know, record our reaction to the trailer, and they said that we can release it at this and this time, and suddenly I am on a music festival, on a concert, in the middle of a huge concert where it was like tons and tons of people, and I get this email that hello, you can release your videos now, when it was like almost an hour before like the given time. And of course my internet didn't work in my phone because there were so many people at this concert that I just couldn't make anything. So yeah, I didn't want to leave the concert, of course, because I just went to Spain for this music festival, and yeah, everyone was able to change the release time for their videos, but I was very late. So I was a bit like angry at first that they changed it last minute, but then I thought, okay, probably I wouldn't get that many views more because there were so many huge channels releasing their videos at the same time. So, you know, in that competition I am always losing, and that's totally okay. But I must say that I am very excited about this game, more than Planet Coaster 2, way more, because it involves dinosaurs, the thing that I love, and building enclosures for animals. So I just cannot wait for this game. This will be so good. I can already feel it. But yeah, some of you have noticed that I was a bit more absent during the last couple of weeks, and that's true, I was. I had just my vacation, I was a bit, you know, away, I was taking a break from social media and all of that, but right now I am fully back, and I am so determined and so like motivated to record new videos, build new enclosures, so you can expect many more videos upcoming on my channel, building for different animals, building different things, and also doing some different videos, more like wish lists and stuff. I am very happy about this and very excited. And of course, if you don't want to miss that, definitely subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. Believe me or not, but I can actually see how many of you are like watching my videos and are not subscribed to my channel. So That's just one click, and for me that means so much. So if you guys would be willing to subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me as always. Okay, but let's go back finally to our honey badgers and their beautiful enclosure that we are building today. Let me explain everything that happened while I was talking. So firstly, we actually created some custom enrichment items for the honey badgers. Of course, because they are built piece by piece, they won't be usable for them, but we need to use some of our imagination here. And those little tunnels, the wooden tunnels that I created, were very highly inspired by their habitat in the Prague Zoo. They also had something like this, like those wooden planks that were just attached to those metal circles or anything, and they created those tunnels. And when I was there, the honey badgers were actually playing in them, those, like running through those, playing with each other. So that was very cool to see, and I wanted to recreate something like this, and I really like the look of those little tunnels. I also decided to use the log tunnel enrichment item. Of course, it isn't usable for the animals in the game, but it still looks good in the enclosure. So I did some terraforming. I added those tunnels. I added a lot of rocks there to make it look a bit more interesting, and for the animals to be able to climb onto something. Again, they wouldn't do it in Planet Zoo, but in real life they probably would. That's why I also added a lot of logs for them to be able to climb on, and where the keepers can potentially hide the food for them for some enrichment. Again, the honey badgers are very intelligent, so they need a lot of enrichment in their habitats. The enclosure in the Prague Zoo for honey badgers has a lot of bushes and long grasses, and this is what I also wanted to recreate. I think that it sort of mimics the natural habitat of those animals. They live on, for example, African grasslands. That's why I also added a lot of tall grasses and bushes. They can hide in there, and it looks nice, so why not? Those are not the animals that would completely eat and destroy the plants in their habitat, so I am always using that. Because I simply like the look of a very lush and overgrown nature in the habitat of an animal. And besides that, I added some smaller rocks, some branches, some leaves, some decals to add some textures and just to make this whole habitat look a bit more interesting. But at the end, I will also add the building for the shelter. I will add the plants on the rock formations, and I will add the plants on the roof of that building. But I will do the interior like off camera, and I will show you this in the cinematic shots in the second. What I also did after I've built this entire enclosure is fill the space between the enclosures that we already have in here in this section to make it look a bit more complete. And I must say that I really like how this whole area is looking, and after we'll add finally the warthogs in the future, this whole little section will be actually finished, and I just cannot wait for that. Okay guys, this is all when it comes to the speed loop part of the video. Let's meet in the second in the cinematic shots, where I'll also give you some fun facts about the honey badgers. The Elm Hill City Zoo is thrilled to finally welcome one of the most fearless animals in the world, the honey badger. The new badger is finally here in Planet Zoo thanks to the new Asia Animal Pack, and it doesn't disappoint. The model of this animal is absolutely beautiful, and I love how active they are. They are always circling around the enclosure, looking as they have something important to do. As I told you, the honey badgers are really fearless. They will take on animals much larger than themselves, including lions, leopards, and buffaloes. They can even steal the prey from animals like cheetahs and leopards. They have very powerful jaws. They can crash through turtle shells and through bones. Their name, of course, comes from their love for honey. They destroy the beehives to get to the honey, and they actually can tolerate thousands of stings. They don't bother them at all. Their skin can resist bee stings, porcupine quills, and bites from other animals, and on top of that, they are super intelligent, so this is a really fearless competitor in here. As I told you, while building this habitat, I had to keep in mind their ability of escaping. So there's a hot wire around it, there's a secured fence in the front of the habitat that would prevent them from digging out and also jumping out. The whole habitat is very grassy, resembling their natural habitat of the African grasslands, and it might have turned out a bit bigger than I expected, but those two honey badgers have a lot of space in here. I also built a shelter for them with a fully done interior that you can see in here. They have two different night quarters to sleep in, and there's also some stuff for regular stuff for keepers. I really like how this habitat blends into the rest of the zoo. I think it really fits into this area, and I am very happy to see this empty space that was empty here for years now filled finally with a nice habitat like this and with an amazing animal such as the honey badger. Okay guys, this is all that I have for you in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video like this. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and of course leave me a comment and tell me what you think about the habitat, tell me what you think about the honey badgers and about the newest Asia animal pack. If you'd like to support the channel a little bit extra and become a sponsor of one of the habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo, you can do it with the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!